It's been a while. I'm just gonna pop in to say this is what I did for my lover. I love, and I'm trying to do this more. I'm trying to do arts and crafts more. I don't know if I should say try because I am. It's not every day, but it's frequent. It's frequent, and how I love expressing my love is through arts and crafts. And so I did this for my lover. Usually I do it myself and express my love to myself through creation in the form of arts and crafts, but this time, so I'm gonna actually just flip the camera. It's kind of tricky to do it, but I did all this. It's personal a little bit, but so I won't explain everything. It's not necessarily personal, but I just it was just for him, and I got him a necklace. I made a necklace, simple like number date that we met, but just the thought of it. I'm really feeling this Pisces energy, and I cleaned up and purified the space a little bit today, and I just feel that Virgo solar, I keep saying solar, that Virgo lunar eclipse. Yeah, so I just feel both, and I just wanted to, it's been a while since I said something. It's like I'm processing so much all the time, but it's personal. It's like a personal journey. I think any self-realization journey, a journey to understand ourselves more on an individual level, it's always like a personal thing. It's just like sometimes it just feels like I'm on, like answers I'm seeking is already inside me, and it's just about uncovering it. And once I uncover it, sitting with it, noticing it, recognizing it, accepting it, or doing something about it. Like I'm going into an art gallery, but the exhibition is myself and all these portraits, and there's a lot of paintings, and everything is a reflection of me. And I'm just trying to dissect every single painting, but the only attendee to this exhibition is me, and that's how I think sometimes this journey can feel like, and maybe for other people too. When I do things like this, because it's like there was never something that solidified who I was, and never something I did that solidified my personality. And because of that, there was no exploration, but I let my circumstances get the best of me when I was younger. And that looked like not going out the house, not doing anything that pertained to the outside, not exploring who I was, what I liked. And because I just put these limitations, I placed these limitations on my life. And based on where I was, and I didn't allow myself to explore a bit of who I am, regardless of circumstances. And it's been a slow progression of recognizing who I am outside of circumstances, having my own self-esteem outside of like what I can't control. Because I think sometimes our self-esteem is attached to what we can control, and if that thing we wanted to control falls through, it's like also our self-esteem falls through, at least in my experience. And I didn't know that I was attaching my self-esteem to what I can control. And this is something I just put into words as I'm speaking about it. And I wonder what else we attach our self-esteem to. Maybe our productivity, our intellect, our anything, any form of our personality. And anyway, I think at least that's one thing I noticed. At least I do differently. At least, like, there's it's like almost like I know that that choice I'm making is different from before, and it gives me a sense of a person when I do stuff like arts and crafts, and when I read, or when I do when I feel passionate about something that I know I like, when I feel passionate about quality food, when I feel passionate about engaging conversation, it just reaffirms me. It reaffirms what how I'm meant to express myself, whether it's through my senses, touch, smell, taste, whether it's through my dialogue and my communication, and whether it's through my imagination, in the form of arts and crafts, in the form of collage, which is one of my favorite arts and crafts. I'm actually not a big fan of that many different kinds of arts and crafts, but that's and I just it's just crazy to me that I spent this long not knowing that I was allowing limitations to halt me into exploring, into being curious, into paying attention to the curiosity. I was ignoring that curiosity, and that led me to ignore my imagination, and that led me to not explore my imagination. Like, it's so crazy. And I'm at this point now, right now. Lately, I've been wanting to pay attention to my body, making sure that I can take responsibility for my body by giving it the nutrients it thrives on, that boost its vitality. Whether it's our body or mind, all of nature is rooting for us. That's why it's giving us oxygen. That's why we have water. We have all the basic necessities here on this earth, and it's almost like if we can allow ourselves to see that, we do have a cheerleader. And I used to think, I've said this before, that life was against me, and that, but the more I pay attention to that old story, the more I recognize that that's just me saying it. It's not true. And it's hard sometimes to know that, because sometimes life can feel like it's beating us down, and things are halted, or dreams are halted, and things are slow. And that's also hard to take in. And it takes just like always telling ourselves a different story. It takes a repetitive different story over and over and over again, of making sure that we're not believing that old story, that we're a victim. And when I do things like this for myself and for people I love to give, it just shows me that I don't have to like pay all my attention to what I can't control. I don't have to revert my time into thinking what's not working for me. I can seek out the resources that are here right now for me, and still work and still live a life that I value, still do things that I value in my current reality. So I just want to I'm hoping I can encourage people to see what they can do right now for themselves, whether it's taking a bath, whether it's whatever art medium, if you have the tools right now, watercoloring. The thing is, the library has free arts and crafts in New York City, has these free programs, so even going to a local library may help if you don't have the materials. I don't have the materials, so I'm just, or like starting a book club with your friends. I might propose that. Making your existence playful, and still feeding into the creativity of it. Creative gatherings, workshops with your friends. I have this idea, of course. I sometimes get ideas of how I want to like add play to my relationship, and that's so important too. Like adding play to your friends, to your relationships, because then you don't feel so beaten down by life. You don't feel so make a bake with your friends, cook with them, cook with your lover if you can, and or yourself. Sometimes we need to add that lightness. And I used to think, and this was actually not too long ago, where I was making a collage and I just felt like it was useless afterwards because I'm like, what am I doing with this piece of paper? There's no use to it. But now that I see that use is not something that's just tangible, sometimes we forget that. Sometimes the society wants us to think everything we produce, it has to be tangible, it has to produce some results in the form of currency, social currency, financial currency. And sometimes just the act itself lights the room again, lights a room that was once dark in our life. The feeling it's of it being a light to us. Creation is a light. And so how can we harness more of this light? Whether it's the people we talk to and the engagements in the conversations we engage in, or what we just bring with other people. The food we cook with other people, the creations, the imagination, all of this brings in a light that I'm like, oh, like that was there already. I just felt like maybe that light was here, but my attention was over here and only focused on what I couldn't control and was not working out for me. And it just felt dark and heavy because of it. But if we just allow ourselves to turn a little bit and see like, okay, what's around me right now that I can so that I can bring in more light. And I'm holding on to that right now. I'm holding on to that right now. I think this year has been even lighter than before. I feel like the last 2 years, last year and so far this year has just been like I don't necessarily think that like the loneliness or sadness has like completely gone away. But it doesn't feel as like it doesn't feel like I'm making myself a victim, I guess, in all of it. And I can place meaning to certain things that I do and what I value. I can place purpose in my life just by my expression. Just by you expressing yourself is purposeful because you're acting in the image of God that God intended you to be. Like, I feel like God's mission for all of us is really just to express ourselves authentically or express ourselves in a way that feels right for us, that feels right for the heart. And that's self as a purpose, maybe. And maybe making peace with my meaning and my purpose in however way, because there's many purposes that we all have, multiple. And if I'm making peace with that, then I can hopefully make peace with this existence and with the heaviness of it. Yeah, so I think I'll leave it at that. Making peace with my purpose. Making peace with what I express. With what I want to give. And I want to give. And that self is purposeful. I had that revelation maybe a couple months ago where I was like, maybe one of my purposes is to give. To play into my imagination. To play into it. To look through it. To pay attention to it. It's there. And it's always been there. Just like my curiosity to gain information, to share, to experience, so I can share that experience. It's like I feel like I'm solidifying a little bit of more, solidifying the clarity that's been such a fog for a long time. So it's like, oh, like these are what I like. These are the activities and hobbies I do like that actually mean something for me. That actually brings in the light for me. And for a long time, I didn't have certain tools, hobbies, other things that brought in the light. Because I was only focused on the dark. And so maybe I was just only always meant to get to this point. Get to a point where I know what can bring in the light. So I'm getting clear on that. Yeah. Anyway, getting clear on the light. It's easy not to, because it's like so much shit. Oh, I gotta pay my bills. I have to, start working. All these things are like wants our attention, and we sometimes pushes away from what else we're meant to do outside of the mundane task or working. Like there's other purposes for us. Yeah, being in the light.